Okay, so today's session will create a program using BDC recording. What we did yesterday? Yesterday we recorded the transaction code and we generated a program using SHDB recording, right? We did not write any BDC related code yesterday, correct? This program is auto generated. We did few modifications to the program. What are those modifications? File upload process we have added because file upload is not generated in the standard program. So we added the file upload process and we added the F4 help, search help for file selection, and we implemented the file upload function module, and we added a loop, right, for the text data, like whatever the data available in text file, we are looping that data, and in between the loop and end loop, what are we doing? We are populating BDC data structure with relevant data, depends on the steps. It is all auto generated, right? Generated by the program, depends on the recording steps, correct? It's all generated by the program, depends on the recording steps. We did not create any data, correct? Today we'll see how to build the same program on our own without auto generating it. Today we'll see how to upload Excel file, and as of now we have used only text files, right? Today we'll use Excel file to upload the data. Okay, so let me build a Excel file first. What are the inputs for the program? Material. What is the next one we have in Excel file?
industry sector,
Industry sector. The next one is material type. Next one is
Material description.
material text. Next one is unit of measurement.
Internet.
That's it, I think, right? Yes. So these are the fields we are going to maintain, and we'll maintain the data in Excel file, okay, with including headers. Material type is ZFIN. This material text. UOM is, for example, EA. I'll take EA. You can take any unit of measurement which is suitable, okay? Should we upload this header text to internal table? No, we should not upload, we should not take this header text. We should take only data. Okay. So save the file. BDC data. Save the file. So our file is ready. Now let's go to the program. First we'll record the steps. Okay. First we'll record the steps. Go to sh db. Create a new recording. So this recording process is same for any transaction code. Only thing you need to know is how to execute the transaction code, how to create data in the transaction code. Okay. Sometimes we may need help of functional consultant. Enter some material number. Select the material type and industry sector. Finished product. Since it's a training system, many people will give their own data. Continue. Next step is select basic data. So there are different tabs here, which is part of material configuration. So we need high level functional knowledge to work with these all options. So here, provide the material description. Some material description. Provide the unit of measurement. I'm taking EA. You can provide any options here, any available options here. Click on save. So it is expecting some enter. We need to click on enter. So it looks like someone added some enhancement here. Here we should capture every action, every user action. We should add that to the program. Okay. So for every user action, what will generate? When I click on enter, one OK code will execute. That is UCOM code, right? When I click on save, this is the code for save. Okay. For enter, this is the code equal to enter. Or continue button is there, right? That continue tick mark is there, right? Green color one. What is the code for that? Equal to enter. ENTR. What is equal to what is equal to BU?
Save.
Save actions.
Save. When we click on save, this is the code which generates. What is this for? /00 for enter. We click on enter, right? When there is a message, to bypass that message. So that is the OK code. So our recording is ready. So here lot of unnecessary details. Here all these are not required for us. You don't need to use all of them. Okay, this BDC subscreens and everything. Only thing you need to use is this one, OK code and BDC cursor and unit of measurement, right? And here also, in the previous screen also, you don't need to use all of them. Okay. Now let's build the BDC program. Is everyone clear? What is the BDC data structure fields? What are the BDC data structure fields? Program,
Program.
screen, dyn
Dine
begin.
pro, dine
That
begin,
is
field name,
dyn begin
field
means
value.
start ID. Dyn begin means start ID, field name, and field value. These five fields is part of a BDC data structure. Right? Now we need to populate that BDC data structure as it is. In line number 1, what is there in line number 1?
Pro.
Program,
Move.
screen, start ID. That means a program, dyn pro, dyn begin. We need to populate these three fields to the BDC data structure and append it to internal table. Then clear the work area. Line number 3, what you need to populate? Field name, field value. Only those two fields you need to populate and clear the work area. So append it to the internal table and clear the work area. In the fourth line, again, you need to populate this one. Field name equal to BDC OK code, field value equal to enter. Append it to the internal table. In the fifth line, populate field name as this one and field value. If you populate this value, every time it will try to create the same material number, right? 141. Here, what you need to pass? Records from internal table, data like file upload internal table. That material number you have to pass here. In that way, it will create a new material number every time. Correct? Here also, it is industry sector. Field name equal to this one. Field value equal to the data from file upload internal table. Whatever the industry sector maintained in the file, that value we have to pass here. Right? And material type also. Whatever the material type that is maintained in the file, that we have to pass here. If we pass this value, every time it will try to create industry sector M and material type ZFIN. It won't take input from the file. It will take these constant values. Okay, clear? And one by one, we have to append it to the BDC data internal table. Then next step, line number 8. Again, you have to populate the work area with dyn pro, program, dyn begin and append it to the internal table. And this will navigate to next level screen and populate the corresponding field names and field values. In this screen, what are the fields and what are the field values you need to populate. Populate in the same order. Okay. And then it navigates to the next screen and populate the data, field name and the corresponding value. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And you can ignore few of them. Actually, these are not required. Okay. In the next screen, you have to populate this. Or what is the easiest step? What is the simple step? Save it. Go back. Generate the program and change it as per your requirement. That is the easiest step, right? First, I'll show you how to build a few steps. Then create the program first. Let's create it for call transaction method. So what is our input for this program? Excel file. In this session, we are going to learn how to upload Excel file to internal table. Okay. So create the program. BDC using call transaction. I'll show you few steps, how to build few steps. But in general, you don't need to waste your time on writing all those lines. Okay. So now, what is the first step? We need to build a functionality for file upload, right? For now, use type string for file path. What is the next step? We need to provide F4 help, right? What is the event for F4 help?
Exception screen on value.
Value request.
On value request for which one? Parameter
Yes.
p underscore file. What you need to call here?
Function value F4 underscore file.
Call F4 file name, and we'll take the same type as this one. Let me enable this, and I'll pass this value to parameter p underscore file. What is the next step?
File up.
File upload, right? Now what is our file? Mute.
Excel file.
Mute, please. So Excel file is our input. So for Excel file, we use a separate function module. That is, let me find it. SA37. Convert XLS SAP. I'll search. I think this is the one. Convert XLS to SAP. Copy this and call the function module. So what are the inputs for this? For this XLS to so here, do we have a header for this? Do we have a header for this Excel file? Do we have a header text for this Excel file? We have, right? We have the header text. This just a headings, just to understand which field belongs to which value. That's it. We should not upload it to the SAP, right? We should not upload it to the SAP, right? For that reason, we should ignore this. We should ignore this first line. How can you ignore this first line? By passing this parameter. Field separator. Sorry, not field separator. Line header, I think. Line header. So we are saying there is a line header. Ignore it. Okay. There is a header and ignore it. And we have two mandatory parameters here which we need to maintain. So these are automatically populated. This one, raw tab and file name. File name is your file input. Enable the raw tab. Just enable the raw tab. And in place of file name, what you need to pass? What is the type of file name? I think for this text Excel convert function module, the importing parameter is not string, just like GUI upload. This is different. File name, what is the type? Local file, char 128. So that this can accept character 128. But what about GUI upload? GUI upload will accept string type, right? This is different. It will accept character 128, so that you don't need to use this conversion. Since it is both F4 file name, also returning data in char 128, and also XLS function module is also accepting the file path as char 128, so that you can just change it to char 128 or the data element local file, or you can also use char 128, right? And just directly pass this parameter here, because both are same types, right? Type local file. I think we are using the same in Excel also, Excel upload file also. Now remove unnecessary details. So only thing you need to define is this raw tab for this XLS function module. This is mandatory. This is a table type. Please observe, this is a table type. Okay. And here you need to pass the file path. If you have file header, pass this ABAP true. If you have line header. Okay. Now after converting, what you need to pass here? The internal table, right? For that, what you need to do? Define one internal table using type structure. What I'll do, I'll just reuse the yesterday's file structure. It is same, right? In the Excel file also, we are taking same fields in the same order. No difference, correct? That's why I'm taking yesterday's program type structure. Because the fields are in same order in the file, correct? Both are matching, right? This type structure and the fields in the Excel file, both are matching. Now I have defined the internal table, pass this internal table to this upload function module. It is saying we should use parameters, not parameter. First, let's see how it is uploading the data. Is everyone clear how we are doing this? For Excel file, what is the function module we need to use? Text convert XLS to SAP. This is the function module which we use to upload Excel file data into SAP. What is the next step? Let's try executing the program. So what are the parameters we are passing to the Excel file upload function module? If we have a file header, pass file header as equal to X. That means what we are saying here, ignore the file header. Hey, I have maintained the file header in the Excel file. Don't read that header text. Okay, read the values by ignoring the file header. That's what we are saying, right? Equal to X or ABAP underscore 2. You can use anything. I think field separator is not required for this. Field separator is not required for Excel file. Okay, comment this. I'm not using that. And what is the next step? Raw tab data. We need to define this internal table, or you can just go through the importing parameter and define one internal table with the same type here. And we need to pass the file path. And what is the output? Output is the internal table data. For that, we need to create one type structure and we need to define one internal table. The fields within the type structure should be same as file, right? Now, let's test this program. Keep a breakpoint, execute, select your file. F6. So this is how the file is uploading the data. So we are able to upload the data, right? We are able to upload the data. I'll show you one more thing. If we have a date in Excel file, how we do it, how we handle dates in Excel file. Let me add one more field, that is date type, maybe create a date. We'll take one standard data element, go to Mara, field name also will take the same, okay, comma. I'm adding this date field to the type structure and I'll maintain the data in Excel file. Now we'll see how to convert, how the conversion will happen, right? When we are taking in text files, we are converting it manually, right? Let's see how the date conversion will happen in Excel file. First we'll check what is the date format it accepts. Go to SU01. SU01 is the transaction code where you can check the user parameters. Username is best. Click on display. SU01, you can check that. So go to parameters, maybe defaults. What is the default date format? What is the date format of the user? This one, 06 dot. Here what is the separator they are using? Dot, right?
Dot.
Dot. Day, month, year. The separator is dot. That is configured for this user, best user, right? This is external date format. This is a external date format. Internal date format is same for everyone, right? Now let's try to maintain the data. That is 07 02 2023. Save the file, and I've added that field to the program. Activate the program. Hello, execute. It is converted the date into this format, year, month, date. But in the debugging mode, we'll observe, is it able to handle the date in the correct format or not? But GUI upload did not do that, right? It is just uploading as it is, how we maintained in the file. But here, it seems it is converting automatically into internal date format, right? So let's see that. If you observe this, it is automatically converted, right, to internal date format. We don't need to do any date conversions, just like how we did in text files, right? If you maintain proper format in Excel file, so it will automatically convert the date into SAP's internal date format, correct? It is automatically converted, right? This is in SAP's internal date format. So you don't need to worry about date conversions using offset and all, right? Okay. Anyway, we are not using that field. So just wanted to show how date conversion will work with Excel files. If you maintain proper format, it will automatically convert into SAP's internal date format so that you can directly pass it to the SAP tables. You don't need to do any conversion. Now what is the next step? So data is uploading correctly. Now loop the internal table. In between loop and end loop, what we need to do? We need to populate BDC data structure, right? We need to populate this BDC data structure, right? Just like what we did in the recording. We need to populate these steps. For that, what is the structure we need to define? What is the structure we need to use? Type standard table of BDC data, and we need one work area as well. What is the type? BDC data. We need to collect each recording step into this internal table, and we need to pass it to session method or call transaction method. So for error handling, what is the structure we need to use? If we are using call transaction, for error handling, what is the structure we need to use?
BDC date.
For example, message BDC MSG BDC MSG COLL. So this is the structure which we use for error handling in call transaction. This is not required for session method, but for call transaction we need to use to read the errors messages. Okay, clear? We need BDC data. This is common for both call transaction and session method. So this internal table we have to populate with all the recording steps, and this BDC MSG COLL structure we need to use it for error handling. Now in between this we'll populate the BDC data structure. W underscore BDC data hyphen. What is the first one? Program. What is the program name? This is the program. What is the next field? Screen, right? What is the field we have available in BDC data structure for screen? Dyn Pro. This one. Dyn Pro, Dyn Begin. Let me copy this 5 fields and we'll keep it here. Program, Dyn Pro. Dyn Pro means screen number. What is the screen number? 60. What is the next field? Start ID. Start ID means the technical field name is Dyn Begin. For what is the value you have to pass? X. Instead of X, you can also pass ABAP underscore true. We populated all the values, right? For the first step, this one, field name, field value are blank for this. What is the next step? Append to which one? And clear. It is similar to field catalog, right? How we build a field catalog. What is the next step? What is the next step? This one. We need to populate field name and field value. I'll just copy the above one here. Instead of program, FNAM and the corresponding FVAL. What is the field name? BDC cursor. What is BDC cursor means? The default cursor position when you open the screen, where your cursor should be. This is an MTART, material, on material type. The default cursor position is on material type. Completed. What is the next step? Append it to work area. Similarly, you have to fill all these steps. Correct? What is the next field name? OK code. Just copy and paste here. OK code equal to enter. value is equal to enter. Next also field name and field value, right? What is the field name? Material number. What is the value? This is the value, right? Material number value, right? This one we should not provide the hard coded value. This one we should provide from uploaded data. So in that case it will create new material every time. Hyphen Matner. Whatever the field available in the type structure. What is the next one? Industry sector. We should not populate the hard coded value, but the value from the file. Next one is material type. We should not populate the hard coded value. We should populate the value from the file. Completed, right? Field values are completed. What is the next step? Again, populate program, screen and start ID. Just copy this. Program name is this. Screen number is this. Dine begin is this. What is the next step? Then populate the field name and field value. This is that checkbox selection. Basic data checkbox selection. Populate as it is. BDC cursor is the field name. Text is the field value. This one you have to populate in single quotes. Next one is OK code. OK code equal to enter. Right? And you have to populate all these recording steps. So instead of this, is it really required to write it manually? Is it really required to write all of them manually? Why don't we generate the program and just copy and paste that? You know, right, how to write it manually? Clear, right? So instead of doing that, what can we do? Just generate a program. Go to the program, change it. You can just copy and paste, right? You can just copy and paste all these subroutines, right? So what they did here, they just modularize using subroutines. They just modularize the code using subroutines. You can also do that here. So for example, you need to create two subroutines. Perform, BDC, screen, and pass the values. For example, program, dine pro and dine begin. And another subroutine, perform, BDC, fval. What are the inputs for this? Field name and field value. These two are the inputs for this. For this screen, program, Dyn Pro and Dyn Begin are the input. So you can repeat same subroutines for all this, right? That's what they did here. So instead of writing all this manually, you can just copy and paste this auto-generated steps, correct? Let's copy till this to populate the BDC data fields. I'm replacing all this with our subroutine. Everyone clear, right? How to populate this BDC data steps? So it is waste of time to populate all of them when we have auto-generated code available. So inside this, they might have populating it to one internal table. Copy this subroutine and place it at the end of the program. Perform BDC field. So we can remove these conditions. Actually, these are not required. So instead of BDC data, right? What you need to use here? WA underscore BDC data and append WA underscore BDC data to IT underscore BDC data. And we need one more subroutine to populate the screen details. Copy that subroutine also, this one, and change the names. WA underscore BDC data. This is the work area. Append WA underscore BDC data to IT underscore
BDC data.
BDC data. That's it. So we are using subroutines for reusability. Okay. Now we populated the BDC steps. Now what is the next step? We need to use call transaction method or session method, right? We populated all the BDC recording steps here, right? Now what is the next step? We need to call session method or call transaction method to execute this data, to create this data in SAP. Which method shall we try with the call transaction first?
BDC
What is
open groups.
that is for session method, right? BDC open group. We don't need BDC open group since it is a session method.
Yes.
What is the statement for call transaction? Call transaction. What is the transaction code name? MM01 in capital letters. What is the syntax? Tell me. Using which one?
BDC
data
data.
structure. What is the internal table we are using for BDC data? IT underscore BDC data. And what's next step? Mode. Which mode you want to execute? Do you want to execute in foreground
Or
or background? No
yes,
screens. I don't want to
no
see any
screen.
screens and it should execute in background. If you want to see all screens, A. If you want to see error screens, when there is errors,
Yes,
when there is error, it
E.
should stop there. Then E. Right? For now I use A. Do we need to use update mode? Do we need to use
It's
update?
synchronized and
Synchronous
synchronize.
and asynchronous. What
Mm. Synchronized.
default update mode is asynchronous. You don't need to provide. Okay. Default update mode is asynchronous for call transaction. And we need to handle the errors, right? How to handle errors in call transaction? Since there is no explicit error handling, we need to use a separate structure, that is BDC MSG COLL. We defined it, right? This is the internal table for that structure. And messages into that IT underscore messages. That's it. Once the first record process is completed, what we need to do? Clear. BDC data internal table, so that it will populate the same steps again for second record. Most common mistake is we forgot to clear this internal table, BDC data internal table, after first record processing. Okay, so we have to clear it. So activate. Oh, I think I forgot to replace this. I copied the auto-generated code and I forgot to replace these values, right? So instead of this one, we need to populate data from file, mtart. Instead of this, mbrsh. So instead of material number, hard-coded value. So what is the next? Material text. Material text. And this one unit of measurement is UOM, right? Hyphen UOM. Looks like it is recorded 2 times. Just pass UOM wherever you have the unit of measurement value. That's it. So these are the dynamic values, right? We are passing from the file. I've replaced everything. Check. Activate. So breakpoint is there. When you are working with Excel files, right, you should close it first. Okay, you should not keep it open. So you can populate the BDC data steps manually, or you can take these steps from that auto generated program. Which one is easier? Let's say there are 200 steps. Is it really required to fill all of them manually one by one? No, right?
No,
You can
sir.
just copy it from auto generated program. There is no use in writing manually. You are not going to learn anything. Correct?
Yes.
It is same as our recording screen, right? We populated in the same order. Correct? So instead of the hard coded values, we are passing values from a file. Correct? Now execute the BDC data call transaction. Execute call transaction. So executing one by one, messages are capturing into IT message, right? Messages are capturing into this one. So call transaction will execute for each record. And you can display these messages in the output so that you can understand what are the records successfully created and what are the records failed to create. Let me add that output display. You can also use ALV grid display to display that, because we have a DDIC structure here. Once the process is completed, call ALV grid function module. Just to display the messages. So what do we need to pass here? Structure name, because we are not building any field catalog. So just pass the structure name, BDC MSG COLL. Enable this, and here IT messages. Or you can customize your message display. I think let's check these materials. We have already executed, right? These materials should be already created in the table. Let's check that. Mara table. So this material is created, correct? Now let's change the material numbers. Because it won't accept the same material numbers again, right? Material description also I'll use the same, just to save some time. Save it, close it, and execute the program again. For every record, we are populating the BDC steps and populating the corresponding values. So this is the BDC, that MSGCOLL message. What we have here looks like we don't have any error messages. Let me execute again with the same material numbers. Now it should display some error, right? When we try to process data with the same. It's all success again. Even we did not get any error messages. But if there is any error message, that will be tracked here in the BDC MSG COLL structure. Clear? Now let's try with session method. Let's create a program for session method. I'll just copy it and convert it to session. Copy, copy everything. Do we need this BDC MSG COLL for session method? Because it
No.
contains implicit error handling, right? No, not required. Remove that. We don't need call transaction. What is different for session method? Only few function modules we need to call. BDC data, populating BDC data is everything is same. Okay, same for both call transaction and session method. Only thing is, first we need to create the session. What is the function module to create the session?
Open G.
Open group, BDC underscore open underscore group. This is the function module which we use to create the session. So here we have all optional parameters, the client number, SYFN mandate MANDT, that means the system client number, group, where is group? Group is nothing but the session name, pass the session name. For example, I am passing like this, test MM01. So the remaining things are optional. Remove this, keep equal to X. So it will keep the session active, ABAP underscore TRUE. Even if you don't pass, it's not going to stop anything. Language, enable the language. It is passing Psi language. And for the user who created the session, how can you check that? How these details will be populated to the session? Who created the session? SY-U name, the current system username. Whoever logged in, those name will be populated in the session. And these are all enable the exceptions. So what are we doing here? We are creating the session using a BDC open group. We don't need this anymore. What is the next step? We created the session. What is the next function module executes? BDC insert, right? BDC insert is the next function module. Where you need to call that? BDC insert function module inside the loop in place of call transaction. BDC insert. What are the inputs for BDC insert? For this BDC data internal table, IT underscore BDC data. And what are the other inputs? T code. What is the transaction code we need to open? MM01, right? Then clear the BDC data. That's it. After this, after processing all the records, what we need to do? We need to close the session. For that, what is the function module? BDC underscore close group. That's it. Even you don't need to pass any inputs. Just enable the exceptions. That's it. Okay. Let's change the data and execute for the session method. First, let's check is this records already created or not. 423. 423 is already created, right? By using call transaction. By using call transaction, we don't need to do any external processing. It will create immediately. Save. Okay, activate the program. Keep a breakpoint here. Select the VDC data file. Execute, allow. So we are creating the session. Looks like there is some issue with debugger. Even if I click F5 or F6, it is completing the process. Anyway, we'll check the records. What are the records we have in the table? Sorry, in Excel file. 424, right? 424. Let's check, is it already created in the table? No, it is not created, right? What we need to do after executing the program? What is the transaction code to manage the session?
SM35.
SM35. Go to SM35. So what is the session we created? This one, right? Test MM01. Process the session. Background. Refresh. So where is it? Processed. It is in processed mode. There is no errors. All the records are successfully processed. This is in processed tab, right? Now our records should have created. Now that 424 record is created. Okay. Now let's try creating the same session, like same records again. Sorry, Excel file could not. Okay, first we need to close this. F8. Go to SM35 sessions. New. Just refresh this. There is one session created. Then process this session in background. Incorrect. It's not in incorrect. It's in processed mode. Even it is processed again. I don't know why it is taking duplicate records again. Looks like it is just updating instead of creating. So the session is processed, no errors. But total number of transfers, right? How many transactions are there? When we processed again, 0. So it did not accept those duplicate records. It did not process those duplicate records, correct? In the previous session, it processed 12 records. In the current session, it did not process any records because there are errors. Maybe they are duplicate records. They are already available. Let me pass some incorrect unit of measurement. Maybe some incorrect industry sector, or let's take unit of measurement. Let's see how it will respond. The session will respond. I'll just pass some 56. Okay. Now execute the program. Session is created. Refresh and go to new. New session has created. Process the session. So now it is an incorrect tab. Our session is an incorrect tab. Go and check the error. Go to the log. If you go to the log, it will display the error. Material already maintained, but there is a specific error message. So for most of them, it is displaying that material already maintained, right? If you have any errors, you can check that errors in the error log, and you need to fix that errors. You need to fix that errors in the file, and you need to reprocess it again. Okay, clear?